morning and welcome to CCL Sunday service. And very happy Easter to everybody. It's a wonderful, beautiful day here in California. How's it in Oregon, Annie?
It's beautiful. The sun is out right now. It's not hot at all. I heard you guys have heat going on, but no, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Well, it's a beautiful day
Great.
so far.
How's it in Santa Cruz, Joyce?
No, I can't.
Joyce,
Oh,
how's it?
Santa Cruz is good. Sun is out.
Uh-huh.
It feels good.
Great, great. So, do you have some announcements?
I do.
Oh, we'll just do it right now.
Okay.
Let's do it right now. Tarot, this Tuesday, but to come to it, you need to let Ruth know you're coming, and here's her contact information.
Because we've decided, people who have come have all decided that we want to do it online because it's easier and the formatting works really well. So ladyofradiantjoy@gmail.com for the link. Lady of, and it's radiant, RADIANT, joy@gmail.com, or you can text me 408-585-9043. And what's nice, that means people like Annie can show up if they wanna.
Annie can show up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the beauty of online.
And I want to encourage you to join our group. The cost is $10 to $20 a donation. And the nice thing
Please know
about
that it's a donation, so like, don't be tripping.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
okay, what is it?
I said, I'm just reminding them that it's a donation.
It's a
Like
donation.
we
yes.
really mean it when we say donation. We're not one of those.
Okay.
You know, it's a donation, and it really isn't.
Oh, it is a donation. And what I like about it, I've never been a fan of tarot cards, but it sparks your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And so I encourage you to join us online. The information is in the CCL newsletter. Imagine that.
Yay!
Yay! So
Corky is a good girl.
on
Yes.
the
This
9th,
is true, accurate.
Yes.
on the 19th, we're meeting at Panera at 1 o'clock, roughly until 2:30. Buy your own lunch or drinks there and join the crowd. So it's a time to exchange ideas and hug and just see real people. So it's a nice environment there. And then I want to mention UCM Speakers Bureau, which is Stephen, and the importance of place.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to talk about place and how that impacts you. And I'm looking forward to that. Now the key to attending this Zoom lecture is to set an alarm for 6:30 on Tuesday.
They start at
14th.
6.
6:30.
Starts at 6:30.
Yeah, set an alarm.
Oh, starts at 6.
Starts
You're
at
right.
6.
Starts at
6 to
6.
Oh, it starts at 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
Thank you.
It does. No.
Okay, but the importance is set an alarm, because I can't tell you how many Tuesdays I've missed because I forgot it was Tuesday, I forgot
Yeah.
it was UCM,
Yeah.
I forgot it was 6 o'clock.
That is a great idea. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
That is a great idea.
My
Set an alarm.
what is it called? Phone. I set my phone.
Yeah,
Maybe I'd better do that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea, huh?
That is a great
So
idea.
it's not this Tuesday, it's the following Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah. So I want
And it's
to
going to be wonderful.
remind you to read the CCL newsletter. Corky's article was in, and this week I'm going to be talking about I can have anything I want or I need because Spirit, Universal Spirit, is abundant and responds to my thoughts and creates for me. And please, I'll be writing a little blurb about that in the newsletter.
Great.
The newsletter is filled with great information. That's just one part of it. So that's our announcements for this week. Yay!
Yay! Thank you. Now, would you like to start out with a song?
Well, why don't we combine them?
Okay.
What do you think?
That sounds wonderful. Well, good morning to everyone. And this is a special prayer. And so if you'd all close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And we thank you, Creator, for all of the good that's on the planet right now. It's so easy to look at the bad, the unresolved and the unsolved, and to think about that. But for today, just think of the goodness. Just think of all of the wonders that happened at Easter time. And think of all the things that have happened to you as a child when you had Easter eggs to find, and all these glorious things that you had in your life. It's a time to remember all the good things. Let go of the negative. Release it. And just think to put your heart on the good things in life. And as you do that, take a nice deep breath. And feel your heart full of love. Fill your lungs full of oxygen. And fill your head full of a beautiful picture for today. And then take another nice deep breath. And think of the love that's around you, that's in you, and that's being sent your way. Now we're going to hear a song from our wonderful speaker for today, and that's Rev Janet Childs.
We honor our journey to here, to the sunrise of our life. We've been in the ashes, we've filled our lives with moments where we have survived. All the journey has brought us to. We are here. We are here. Through the storms and the triumphs, we are here. And may the Spirit flow through you, and may you know all of you is true, and may each and every moment bring you to here, bring you to here. Bring us to we are at the proving ground where we've all come from, and we take the wisdom of the ashes that we have borne, and we rise, all of us, have all of us inside, and all of us, each one of us will survive, and we stand in the purifying light, the moment where we decide to open up our hearts to all of us inside, and we bring home all the richness of the joy and pain. We hold it all with loving arms, and we are whole. we've survived, and together we rise.
Thank you so much, Jen. That's wonderful, wonderful. Being risen today is what today's all about.
Yes.
And so that's a great song to be singing. Thank you so very
Came
much.
from all of us.
Yes. And if any of you have anything, announcements you'd like to make, please do. This is a time for that. And you've got hearts coming up there. Anybody have any announcements they'd like to make? Well, we've got a quiet bunch today.
I'll make one more
Yeah,
announcement.
yes.
Fiddler on the Roof is going to be with Opera San Jose in November. And I think we should, it's such a delightful play. I think you'll enjoy it. And maybe we should make a group outing there.
Great, great.
November, plan ahead.
Yeah, plan ahead. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Sounds like fun.
And if anybody else have any announcements they'd
I
like
do.
to make, yes. Oh,
Um,
Songbird, you're over there.
Yeah, at Summer Winds Nursery on De Anza Boulevard, they have the narrow leaf milkweed
Oh,
in 4-inch pots for $10. Like, you know, you don't want to have to pay $17 for a gallon, right? Like I was at the one in Palo Alto yesterday, and they only had these $17 things. But so if you want to get some of the narrow leaf milkweed for this season of having a host plant for monarch butterflies,
Beautiful.
it's in there now.
Oh,
It's time to
yay.
get it.
great. And the monarchs really like it?
It's the host plant. Like they can't survive unless they have this plant to lay their eggs on.
Wow.
So getting the host plants in spring is the thing to do, and to have them everywhere. And they do grow like a weed if you just keep them watered so they don't wither up and die, right? You know, water mine because their roots aren't deep yet. The thing about the milkweed is when it starts from seed, it sends down a taproot really deep. So you want to get it into the ground right away.
Got it.
And you want it to be so established that it lives through the winter and it keeps going next year.
Great. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank
sharing
you for that.
And also,
Songbird.
if people have, they have space for a vine in the sun. I know at the one in Palo Alto they have this Dutchman's pipe vine, which is the host plant for the blue swallowtail butterfly. And if you on your computer put in Tim Long blue swallowtail, you'll get this San Francisco, I don't know, some native garden, and he has blue butterflies all over his face. But he single-handedly saved this blue swallowtail species of butterfly. I planted a blue pipe vine in my yard this past week, and I'm dreaming that we'll have enough pipe vines between here and San Francisco, and eventually I will get blue swallowtail butterflies.
Yay!
Yay, thank you. Let's bring in on the butterflies.
And I'm dreaming of blue ones now, too.
That's wonderful,
Does
yes.
it take sun or shade?
Sun.
Sun, full sun?
Yeah, sun, it can take part shade. It can take part shade.
Annie, you have your hand
It's
up?
in the part shade.
Yeah.
Sun part shade.
Well, I just wanted to say that a friend of mine down in Southern California, every year he breeds and helps the monarchs. And what he does is he asks for donations to help him pay for the parent plants. And then when their cocoons release and they go out, he makes a video for them, and he donates or he makes it to somebody's name. So I did one for my mom when my mom passed away, and I just did one for my friend Sue, who passed away in June. And so when he releases that, he'll send me a video of releasing the monarch butterfly that's named after my friend.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's so sweet.
Thank
Just
you
a beautiful,
so much for
beautiful
sharing
thing to
it.
do. Yeah.
Chris has her hand up.
And Chris?
Yeah, I want to follow on with this monarch thing. It's actually a very God-centered activity, but sometimes our best intentions can send us a little bit awry. And what I wanted to say is that milkweed's really important for this reason. People think that when the monarchs come and they lay their eggs, that that's it. And as long as they can lay their eggs on something, they're done. The problem is this. If we allow if the monarchs just only lay their eggs on whatever's in the garden, when the caterpillar hatch, they can't eat it and it doesn't survive. So the eggs get laid, but the caterpillar doesn't survive. So songbirds' intention here of bringing in milkweed is actually a huge step forward to help assure that the monarch survives. Because just because they're in your garden, if they can't lay on a milkweed, the babies won't survive.
Well, thank you for sharing. And Stephen, you have something?
Yes, this isn't butterflies, but all last year, 2025, I did not see one ladybug. I have, a pretty natural garden, but I've surrounded by, all these people who have uh, mow and blow yards or, you know, uh, uh, astroturf for a lawn, that kind of thing. And I was really sad because I did not see any ladybugs, which aren't butterflies, but they're beautiful and they're important for our ecology. But early this year, about January, I saw ladybug
Hey.
it was on a Mexican sage. And then this year, I saw this little teeny, 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 tiny ladybug that was pink and about the size of a pinhead. And it's actually called a pink ladybird beetle.
Oh,
And
wow.
and it's like this tiny, tiny ladybug. And then the very next day, I saw another nine-spotted ladybug, which I'd never heard of until I looked this one up. And so ladybugs are coming back, and my garden is full of butterflies. All painted ladies, a couple of sulfurs, and the white ones, the California satyrs. It's yeah.
Well, that sounds beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Stephen. And now we're going to have our speaker.
Oh.
Yes. we could let all you talk, but we have a speaker this morning, and it's Reverend Janet.
Well, it's such an honor to be here with each and every one of you. I'm just looking at the screen and looking around the room here, and just really filled up with love.
Can we put her on the big screen?
Sure.
Let's let everybody see her beautiful purple dress.
And
She's
I wore
wearing
this
a
in
purple
honor
dress.
of.
I'm wearing a purple dress. Courtney's
Right, we're
wearing
all
a purple
wearing
shirt.
purple.
And
Marisa is wearing
a
purple.
purple dress.
Right.
So we're a real purple group there today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And isn't it wonderful? I mean, to think of the themes of, I'm just going to name it: seed planting, clearing. What have we been talking about? Pesach, Equinox, spring, Easter. Ramadan we're just finished with. Lent we're just finished with. And the cleansing, intentioning, growing and glowing, expressing, honoring, sacrifice, dark nights of the soul, resurrection, remembrance. To be a full human, we need to honor all of our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
To be a full human, we need to honor it all. The challenging and the difficult, as well as, the happy and joyful and peaceful. Because when we accept ourselves as a whole human being, it allows us to what? Rise. That's what the Phoenix rising is all about. There's been some amazing, in, spiritual traditions, the Phoenix has been used a lot.
Right.
It has been used as a symbol for many different traditions around the world. And I just want to honor that what that is about is the Phoenix is rising out of what? What is the Phoenix rising out of?
Ashes.
Ashes. What are those ashes?
Everything.
Everything. So what might be in your ash pile?
Phoenix.
My excessive clothes.
My excessive clothes.
My crowded closet.
Your crowded closet.
Sadness about what's happening with the earth and all of our relations.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I'd love to rise above that.
Ashes. Could be anything and everything.
Yeah.
It could. What
The-
about you?
Just the harm that's happening to the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, with all those bombs and stuff, it's, oh,
Yeah.
God, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the saddest thing is the disconnect of still many of our brothers and sisters who are not awakened to the light of their own true nature.
Yeah.
Say that last part so they can hear it.
The so many of our brothers and sisters are not yet awakened to the light of their own true nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Songbird.
I would say there's sadness around the patriarchy. And I've been studying a little bit more of this research on it. Carol Gilligan in the 1980s studied adolescent girls and found that adolescent girls coming of age is when between 8 and 11 they're full of life, full of their exuberance and knowing. They know what they want, and then they get the pressure of the role of the female, and then they lose their authentic voices. And Carol Gilligan worked with this man named Terry Real, who studied boys. Well, guess what? Carol says, patriarchy doesn't care about women. They care about boys becoming men, right? So between 4 and 7 years of age, the boys learn to become boys where they stuff their feelings and they're not vulnerable and stuff. So we have a divide between masculine and feminine, what we're allowed to express. So we're only half humans, really, in our culture. So, and I have now come to understand that the basis of the climate crisis is rooted in the patriarchy. And nobody really talks about that very much, but it's this disconnection of having compassion. That we get so much trauma that's not processed. Like we have these leaders who are, horrid right now, off creating war, blowing things up, greed, excessive greed. And so the big healing is we have to allow the boys to have their feelings, right? They have to be able to be sad and get all the colors of the rainbow and process their feelings. Because when people start stuffing feelings is when they become crazy. Batshit crazy. They get depressed. They can't function. They lose a lot. They use substances. So, so balancing and bringing that balance back in so we can all be full human beings is really important. So I want to put the patriarchy as something I'm pretty sad about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you.
Back to you, Janet.
All right. And I wanted to invite each of you to realize that there's fertility in those ashes that we rise from. So when we do the transformative work of actually, working on expressing and being with what is real in our life, what it does is it creates this fertile soil, because ashes are used a lot in soil. Right?
And eggshells.
And eggshells, right? A lot of different things that are natural. And, just as you said, Songbird, in a powerful way, when we are denied a part of ourself, expression of part of ourself, that doesn't allow us to do the transformative act of rising from the ashes. And there's a song that we came up with, and I really feel like, I kind of brought it out, but it was a group song after 9/11. Yeah, after 9/11. And it was, rising from the ashes, we're building a new day. Angels rising from the ashes, loving each other in a new way. Well, we are the hope, we are the healing, we are the unity, we are the peace.
We are the hope, we are the healing, we are the unity, we are the peace. Rising from the ashes, building a new day. Angels rising from the ashes, loving each other in a new way. Well, we are the hope, we are the healing, we are the unity, we are the peace. We are the hope, we are the healing, we are the unity, we are the peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remind us that as we rise together, we can help each other make that transformative, move. And if you take a look at, some of the most sacred holidays that are celebrated at this time, and many of our traditions around the world teach us about rising from that winter, rising from that. And in order to do this, and we found this out really quickly, and I wrote a bunch of notes, but they'll probably go out the window. I'm following Joyce C. But we found at the Center for Living with Dying, which was 50 years, okay? We were around for 50 years. And we found that it was so important to honor and acknowledge every part of that journey. Every part of that journey. And so we created, and what came to us was there are 4 steps to doing it. There are 4 steps to doing it. And you've probably, if you've been in any of our workshops or anything, you've probably heard these 4 steps. But it felt like it needed to be acknowledged. And that's actually the first step. The simple act of acknowledging something hurts, something's wrong, something's sad, something's scary, literally changes our biochemistry when we acknowledge it. It boosts our immune system. Our body responds, it says, okay, all hands on deck. We need to get moving, right? And so just that simple act of acknowledging, I am sad, I'm angry. That's why I asked you, what's in your ashes? What's in your ashes, right? Because when we acknowledge it, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We're putting words to it.
We're putting words to it, right?
Yeah.
Or we're putting some kind of acknowledgement. And when we are borne witness to, when someone else allows us to have that reaction, to have that feeling, what happens?
The whole nervous system settles.
The whole nervous system.
And when it's not acknowledged, like you get toxic positive people who are trying to make everybody be positive because they don't want to be with anything they're upset with, so they get super controlling of everybody else to be positive all the time. They stop that natural process from happening, and the natural healing, they actually thwart it.
Yeah. So that's the key. We can be a bear witness to each other. We can be a bear witness to each other. We can be a witness to each other and to our own simply by that first step, acknowledging. Now, one of the things that what it does is when we are honored and acknowledged, as we are acknowledging, that very act brings us back to center, back to ground, and tells us that we have a right to our feelings, thoughts, and reactions. We have a right to our feelings, thoughts, and reactions. It validates our humanity. It validates our humanity. Now the next step, and this is where a lot of times, in our, I'm going to say primarily American culture that I'm aware of, is we need space to express the details of what is hitting us the hardest, what hurts the most. Sometimes we need to express the details. When we express the details, we get it from the inside out. We can do this by writing, drawing, moving, talking, praying, or any form of expression. When we get it from the inside to the outside, we're no longer holding it just by ourselves. Because the greater universe will help us hold it when we express the details. And often there's a lot of shame about expressing the details
because we might have a lot of different feelings about one. It might not be just a one-note feeling. So we could feel perhaps angry or resigned or helpless.
Or despair.
Despair, exactly, or despair. And I really thank you for saying that word, Joni, because it actually speaks to one of the emotions that we don't allow people to share when they are in despair, when they are isolated, when they are alone. And if we could allow the expression of the details of what that looks like, that's powerful. That is powerful. So all of these, can get from the inside to the outside. And now what's interesting is once it gets to the outside, we can boundary it. Now, what do I mean about boundary? Okay, when it's inside, it's just running amok, right? But when we get it outside, we can look at it in its wholeness, and we can set the boundary. Now we're moving back into control. And when we acknowledge it and sit with it, our essence is in control. This is so powerful because a lot of times we don't give ourselves the time to do that. We're very, very rough on ourselves. We're very, very demanding. Our schedules are very full many times, and we're taking care of other people, other things, and we don't get that time to do that with ourselves. And that's where a wonderful listener or supporter can help us stop. Once we've acknowledged it and expressed it, then we can begin to work with it. And you notice I said work with it. I didn't talk about throwing it out the window or ignoring it. This is so important because, again, we're taught that, well, you got it out, didn't you? Isn't that all that needs to happen? What's the next step, my friends? Does anyone remember, anyone that's been with me? What's our third step?
Act.
Repair.
Right. Do an action step. Because acknowledge, express, and do an action step. Now, what about action step? Okay, action steps are amazing because what they do is they move us from out of control to in control. So, identifying action steps of transformation. This is the phoenix taking the ashes and rising up to create what is new and born and reborn. These actions can be simple. I said simple, not easy. Simple. Releasing the old and claiming the new paradigm of your life. So you do an action step where you reclaim your agency, your power, because you're going to address all that you've expressed. This is where sometimes I feel like, and I'm speaking for myself as well, I don't always give myself enough time to do this. To really express and then really work on, okay, what's an action step? And when we do that, when we bring a sense of we have transformed or we have healed some of that pain. So one of the most simple things that I've done for years is lighting a candle. Right. Literally lighting a candle. And we have the Light of Light ceremony that many of you have been at, where we light candles for those, who have died. And in the lighting of the candle, it's an action step that does what? What does that action step do?
Well, it illuminates. It just brings an awareness.
Exactly. It illuminates. Yes. It brings an awareness.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual.
That is nourishing and psychologically necessary, which is one of the things I learned when working with you, Janet, was I thought, you just had to fix the things that needed to be fixed, but you also have to do the psychological piece around it.
Yeah.
And it means so much to people.
Yeah.
It's
also a release.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Annie.
A release of your feelings of love going forward into that and bringing energy into that.
Exactly. Exactly. And when we bring that power of release and love, it helps us release some of our sorrow, some of the heaviness of it. Not that the sorrow is going to go away, but the sorrow has been transformed into love. Into love. And I just, when I feel my ancestors with me, and all that they are there right with me, it just enables me to go through and get that through line, get that river of love, right? Just by doing the action step. And it can be very, very simple. And one of the things that I'd like to honor is that Ruth Renata, actually taught me a lot. She was on a CCL meeting, I think it was a Sunday service. I wasn't sure. I think I must have been there. But anyway, she talked about doing a ritual. And she said you need very simple things. So it's like you don't need all the fancy, ritual equipment. You can do it with very simple things, with earth, with water, with fire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With air. And a lot of these things, like I've found feathers that I use, for if I want to burn some incense or some sage or whatever. I mean, there are things, we can make it very simple. We tend to think until I get this, I can't do my ritual. Mm-hmm. Or until this happens, I can't do my action step. And so that's what we're talking about here is action steps.
Bells are good too, because bells carry sound.
Bells carry
can call
sound.
Or clear. You can use them
Absolutely.
either way.
Right. And it doesn't have to be an elaborate bell.
No,
it could be
a
a
little one.
And the
bell. Tone will change when the energy shifts.
That's right.
You'll sense when the energy is really dense and heavy, the bell's tone it's muddled somehow. But after you do some work and you light the candle and you say your invocations or your decrees or however you do it, then when you go to your final release and then call in new energy or call in the helpers or the guides or whatever beings you're aligned with that you work with, then you'll notice the tones are lighter and almost higher too when you're ringing the bells.
That's fantastic.
That's
awesome.
And that's something very simple that we can use. So think about using your voice even as a tone.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Using your voice. I mean, I'm a toner. I do tone healing. Many of you in this room do tone healing. And what it is we can be the reed. We can be the vessel, to catch that vibration, right? And every time we sing, right? I mean, there's a lot, about singing and toning and letting your voice be heard. But this action step is for you to take care of you. So it's not to just go do something that doesn't have any meaning. The action step has to be meaningful. And then there's a moment after you do the action step that I call the in-between place. It's before we reconnect to our new world, which is the final step. So the action step goes a little bit like what we've talked about. Very simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but what it has to be is real. It has to have real meaning for you. That's the ticket. So I was working with a person that was in a very urban part of Chicago, and he said, I need to get to a park. He said, I can't do it. I feel the city. And so he went down to the lake, and even though he was surrounded by the city, he said, I feel like this is a place I can do my action step. And we were on the phone with each other,
Oh, wow.
His mother had just been murdered. And he had gone back for the funeral. And one of the things that he said was, just being near the water, he said, I release my mother's pain into the water.
Wow.
And I release my pain about my mother's pain. Isn't that powerful? My pain about my mother's pain.
Wow.
Right? And that's all he did. He said, and I took some of the water, and I put it on my face, and that was all I needed. You know, just that simple thing. And he said, I could give it to the bigger universe. I could give it, you know, to, you know, that spiritual oneness, just by doing that action step. See how simple that action step was? That simple. But the key was it had meaning. The key was it had meaning. So no matter how elaborate our action step is, if it doesn't have meaning for us, it's not going to carry the power of our transformation, right? So just that, and I've totally gone off. But the other thing I want to ask is, so there's a moment after we do that action step where we almost need to, well, I'm just going to read what I wrote. There is an in-between place where the new has not manifested and the old has been burned away. These are the ashes. That is silent, mysterious, almost as a chrysalis, which is amazing that we were talking about that. Where it appears that all is gone, all is done, before we are able to claim the next step. Here is where we hold each other, comfort each other, and wait with patience and with faith that all will come to fruition in our journey. That all will come. So this moves us into reconnect. You know, reconnect with what and who are still good in your life. This is where we gather our circle of life, our circle of meaning, and fly to our worlds of possibilities and dreams, building them into real experiences we can feel and draw upon. And in many traditions, Jewish, Islam, and Christian as well, there is the double-headed phoenix. And I love this image. It's also in many goddess traditions as well. The double-headed phoenix, which to me represents the gathering of the wisdom of what we have experienced and learned, along with the grounding of our ancestors, our earth, and our spiritual roots. And then, as the other head is looking towards the future, the rising experience, the potentials and the gifts of our struggle and heart being brought forward and made visible. Wow. Being brought forward and made visible.
Right. That's so important. So since we grow closer to the Creator through our suffering, if we're spending all our time trying to pretend like there's no suffering, we don't get that integration of the learning of what we're supposed to have.
That's
from
right.
our suffering, right?
Yeah.
Could you repeat what you said at the very start about reconnect with what or who?
Oh, yes. Hold on, now I've lost my place.
It was after you were talking about the in-between place.
Gotcha. Reconnect with what and who are still good in your life.
Still good.
This is where we gather our circle of life, our circle of meaning, and fly with our world of possibilities and dreams.
Is that the fourth step, the reconnect?
That's the fourth step.
So one way that I do that is a gratitude list.
That was next up. That's perfect.
Yeah, that I've seen people just change their lives doing a nightly gratitude list, and it certainly helped me through some difficult times.
Absolutely. Gratitude lists are wonderful. And let me tell you something about gratitude lists. Don't just make it up because you think it looks pretty. Do it because you really feel it. Does that make sense? So take a moment in your day or even in your week. I don't always do this every day, so I'll be quite honest, I don't always. But I'll, sit down, light my candle and say, okay, what is my heart really grateful for? What am I really grateful for? And it's surprising when I just take that moment that what I thought I was grateful for was one level, but what I was really grateful for was sometimes the challenge that brought me to the place of new awareness.
That is so true. You know, my mom was a tough mother, and my brother and I always said once we grew up and got away from home, life was easy. But I came to be grateful for that toughness because it enabled me to survive in tough circumstances.
Yeah.
So what looks tough and difficult often turns into skills and blessings in moving forward. And
So
that's a
true.
good thing to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
I wanted to mention that it's important to have the great gratitude at the beginning of the grief journey or
Yes.
the acknowledge. And the reason is, if we only complain, it lowers our inner state.
That's right.
So Fred Luskin has demonstrated this over and over. And so if you complain, it lowers your inner state completely. However, if you intersperse some gratitude, you know, even though it sucks that yada yada yada, and I'm going through this and it's really horrible, I'm grateful that what it does is it makes the person, it avoids that plummeting of the inner state. So the gratitude is important. Or you could ask, who's been kind to me? That's what Fred Luskin recommends, who wrote Forgive for Good, and he's had the Forgiveness Institute up there at Stanford University, and he's on the faculty of Sophia University, right? So he recommends that you say, who's been kind to me? So there's always, as who was it? Rogers, the guy.
Carl Rogers.
No, that did this.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, yeah. There's always the helpers or whatever.
Mhm.
Just finding who to be grateful for will keep the inner state level. So all throughout that process to have the gratitude practice.
So what book did you mention?
That Fred Luskin wrote? He wrote Forgive for Good.
Okay, that's a good book to
It's a very good book.
look into or
Yeah.
explore.
Ram Dass wrote a book called Grist for the Mill, and I
Mhm.
always loved that because he said that if you can cultivate a constant state of compassionate detachment, which is often what is taught in Buddhism, compassionate detachment, then you can hold whatever experience you're experiencing, but part of you can hold yourself apart from it and be witness to it at the same time that you're experiencing it, and recognize that it can be grist for the mill in
Right.
terms of your further unfolding and evolution.
Mhm.
I always love that, grist for the mill.
It's a beautiful image. And I want to acknowledge to each of you, my friends, that this is so important to not just, if you're struggling to have gratitude, don't push yourself. Just go to, sometimes it can be as simple as, I'm going to touch the fact that I'm on the earth. I mean, make it simple, but don't force yourself to have gratitude about what you don't feel grateful for, because that's going to backfire on you.
Well, Stephen just said there are things I feel I should be grateful about and can't quite be grateful.
Exactly.
I add them to another list.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen, for acknowledging that.
And Francisca's done some interesting, she says sorrow shared is half, joy shared is double.
Right.
She's got some interesting things in them.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. And what has your journey been like? As we look at Easter, and I'm reminded of, kind of Easter, because we're on this day of Easter, the struggle, the dying, the resurrection, all of this great spiritual leaders have expressed their struggle and their rising, if you think about it. Now, I just want to acknowledge, this is a day we often honor that Jesus was resurrected. Jesus wept. Jesus became angry and furious at injustice. He wept about being abandoned and dying alone. And he also offered, at the moment of his death, a loving cloud of forgiveness, right? The key is, whether we're talking about Muhammad, whether we are talking about Moses or some of our traditions, whether we are talking about goddesses that have walked this journey, Hecate,
you know, Persephone, Isis, Sedna, Bridget, as we take a look at all of these leaders, right, what they've modeled for us is how to go through the struggle, how to move through it and then rise out of the ashes, and then it becomes real. It's a real thing. It's not just a fake thing we did because we think we had to do it. And this is so important, and that's why your way has to be your way, right? Give yourself the permission to be a full human. So I would like to hear, breakdown is actually a break open. And I've said that for years. Embracing the remembrance that we are in right relationship with our world, with our experiences, and with ourselves. So I'd like to hear, what are your rising of the ashes? Can anyone share a story or a moment where they had that rising of the ashes?
Jan?
Yes.
In the early days of my being on this planet, my father came to see me from the hospital, and his soul came to see me. And he had a little chat with me. And he always called me Joyce C. No one else in the family did. They always just called me Joyce. And he came to see me, and we had a talk. And his final words to me was, "Well then, Joyce C., well then." And he turned and walked back well, his soul went back to the hospital and got into the body. And then the phone rang to tell me that Daddy had passed on. But we had had a most remarkable little chat. And he was reminding me to always be me, not to try to be somebody else, because that's not going to happen. But for me to be me, I have been practicing that now since about 1975, 76, being me. And I do that the best I can every day. But I do not try to be anybody else, because there is only one Joyce C.
Absolutely. And I just want to underline that 1,000 times. When we do the work of acknowledge, express, act, and reconnect, it allows us to be truly ourselves, right? It pulls out everything and allows us to be ourselves without worrying about what other people think or judge. Yes.
The other thing about being ourselves is, just to add it on, when we realize that we're taking steps that we're not comfortable with, it's okay, because we are awake, we are alert, we're conscious. We can then pause and have a talk with ourselves and say, let us redo this, let us end that, let us take a different path. And that is something that I also learned from my daddy.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And what you've done, Joyce C., for us is you just taken it forward, because if we look at the example of your own life, that is exactly what you've done. No matter what, you followed.
Yes.
You followed that river. So I really, really honor it, what you've given us, through your daddy, through Mr. Brown, but also what you've done with it. You've taken it forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank everyone, and I thank you too, Jan.
Oh, thank you. I love you. Oh, anybody else want to share kind of their rising out of the ashes? I can't believe the time. I'm so sorry. Wow.
That's okay, we'll go over today.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to offer, my friends, that a beautiful thing was said by Rumi, which I love. He says, love is the whole thing. We are just pieces.
Oh, wow.
And so remember that the underpinning of love is what we're looking for here. To do this all in love and being gentle with ourselves. I mean, I made up that saying years ago, and now it's become a popular saying. I want to take credit because I came up with it, but it's probably like it all came up at the right time. But being gentle with yourself, what does that really mean? It means really
really, really doing everything you do with others, but with yourself too, as love, right? So in love, as love. I want to thank you for letting me be here with you today, and I want to thank Dottie and Corky for making this whole space possible. And I am just very, very grateful. And thank you, Joni, for all that you lend.
Well, we're grateful for you, Jan
So,
Jan.
thank you.
And
Yay.
we could pass a basket and let people show us how grateful
Yes.
they are.
There you
And then,
Absolutely.
so, I'll do the, I'll read what people have said.
Wonderful.
Well, are you completely sure that you're done? It looks like you've got pages to go.
I know. I mean, it just isn't
Well,
that
what else did you want to say important?
Let me take a peek here. Okay. So I love this. So I happen to be reading some things. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Lee Harris. He's kind of a channel and an intuitive. And he said something about this particular time. So he said, in his sharing of energy updates, he offered this. It is a time right now for purging the collective pain as it moves through your body. Notice it. We often say the body does not lie, right? And we've said that forever. So
This is true.
More shadow work reveals itself to be healed. That's what he said. And I'm paraphrasing it. These are not direct quotes. Okay. Be aware of your triggers, especially in the next month or so. We are in the middle of a timeline jump. Actions become reactions, become actions to heal.
Wow.
Use the action energy that we have in this springtime. There's a lot of action energy. You know, we're in Aries. We're in the springtime. Action and motion, getting stuff done. However, create what you want, but don't put a judgment on yourself. Collective balance and growth will come from the new. Choose to do a new thing. And I thought that was interesting.
Yes. And
Choose
be
to do a new
gentle with
thing.
yourself as you attempt or proceed in the new thing, because
Yes.
whenever you're doing a new thing, there's challenges. And then sometimes we give up and say, oh, I can't do it. Where if you'd just gone that one more extra mile, you get to the reward. And so I'm asking you to remember to support our community. Our community is so special for us to gather here and share our thoughts with Jan Jan, with Dottie, with Corky, and Marissa, who's new, but we're grateful for her being here, and Songbird, who always brings the butterfly energy here. So we're grateful for this community, and you can support it on Zelle or regular checks mailed in, which is what I do. I tell my bank every month, write a check to CCL. And so that's another easy way to do it. And I want to remind you that regular giving creates regular receiving. So if you're looking for more regular receiving of financial support, money, love, health, it extends to all areas of your life. Regular giving creates regular receiving. Have a good week, folks.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, John.
Gina Lyons says, I am grateful for the lovely Easter breakfast fix for me, for my daughter Jocelyn, and for her joining us this morning.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Wonderful.
And Gina says,
Sky
I'm
says,
oh, I'm sorry.
Sky
We
says,
love you too, Sky.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So do you want to read that, Corky? Read the
Well,
what's
let
in
me
the chat?
get us adjusted here.
Okay.
Really? So that we get into are you guys, yeah, because it seems like, people take the time to write.
We want to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. I want to hear it. I know, because I couldn't keep track of it. Because I was talking and I'm nosy. I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's always amazing to find out what you say when you're the speaker. Go back and listen to it and say, I said that? Wow.
And
I
don't
said
wanna-
that? Oh, no.
That's right. Okay, so, here we go. I guess I should start from, because, good morning and happy Easter, everyone. That's from Annie, and Chris Brown says good morning to all.
So good to see Chris.
Yeah, and then Jocelyn says, love it. I had one like it too. Anyway, and Stephen says, the Crown Prince of UAE has gotten rid of the designation housewife and replaced it with generation shaper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Francisca says, I love that, Stephen, thanks. And Corky said, thank you, Stephen, interesting. And then I said, I love you guys, so wonderful to see and hear you all. And then Francisca said, honest, non-judgmental listening can do so much. And he said, that's what was going on. That's what I was going to say. Singer tone. Okay. Francisca says, sorrow shape. The sorrow share is half. Joy shared is doubled. Right. You said
Beautiful.
That. Okay. Stephen says there are things I read about feeling guilty, but he puts it in another list. And then Stephen says psyche journey to heads for love. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, Francisco says, I have truly enjoyed this spiritual meeting full of truth, but I have another Zoom meeting going on now. Regretfully, I have to go. Thank you. And then Jeannie, is grateful having your daughter in Easter breakfast. Okay, that's us. That's them.
Whoa, wonderful. Thank you all. Be very, very gentle with yourselves.
And let's all send a wonderful thank you to our Reverend Janet Childs. You did such
Thank you, Janet.
a job.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so beautiful.
You think she was a professional speaker?
And I just want to say, this is the deal. I want to say about our wonderful Chris Brown. I don't know if she's on, but she is a beautiful example of Phoenix rising out of the ashes, because she chose her path, and she's in a wonderful spiritual community that is where she has been called to be. And I just really want to honor. That's a beautiful example of what we're talking about. And that's what I love about UCM, because you can be a part of another spiritual community, and you're also welcome with us.
Yes.
So it's like we can hold it all. And I just thank you. Chris, I was so happy to see you. You are an example.
And please, each one of you that's opening up an Easter egg today, thank the Lord. Thank you for it. And thank everybody for celebrating Easter. It's a wonderful gift that was given to us. And thank each one of you for being here today. We really appreciate it. And it's time to go.
So Kevin finally found his thumbs up.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Love you.
Janet.
Love you guys. Happy Easter to everyone.
Thank you.
Good day, everyone.
Songbird, Marissa
Blessings.
for adding to it, and thank you, Corky, for putting it on.
Yes, Corky. Very Corky. Yay.
That's all.
Yay.
Janet, can I get a quick picture of you because that looks so good with your guitar.
Thank you. Oh, I would love it. Yeah, then I might use it.
Okay.
Can
Thank
I
you.
have that?
You can, but it's